the supernatural as something that isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen.
AM 1420, WBSM presents Spooky South Coast with your hosts, Tim Weisberg and Matt Costa.
Good evening and welcome to Spooky South Coast. Tim Weisberg here, along with the silent assassin Matt Costa and science advisor Matt Moniz. We are here with you to talk about the paranormal, as we are each and every Saturday night. And tonight we have a great show planned for you, because coming back to the program for the first time in a while is our good friend Rick Hayes. He is a fan favorite here at Spooky South Coast because he is one of the most dead-on, no pun intended, mediums that we've ever spoken with. He's actually a paranormal communications consultant is his title, and he's also the founder of Life's Gift, an association that supports his consultation and speaking engagement services. As a psychic medium and paranormal life consultant with unique abilities, Rick consults on a daily basis with those that have questions regarding life and the life after. As a speaker and lecturer, Rick has shared his unique insight with inspiration and enthusiasm to thousands since 2003. Rick's speaking invitations range from a small organization group to major events and conventions attended by thousands. As a published author, his books include Stepping Stones, Thoughts Along Life's Path, and You're Not Crazy, You Have a Ghost. His articles appear on numerous print and online publications. Rick is a media favorite, appearing on television, radio, and print media, including appearances on Sirius Satellite Radio, Fox Television, Travel Channel, CBS Radio, and Sci-Fi Network Television, and he makes his big return here to Spooky South Coast. Good evening, Rick. Welcome back. It's been a while, but we're very glad to have you back with us.
Hey, guys, it's great to be back, and I was just listening to that, Tim, and I didn't realize I was really that busy.
It goes by fast when you're having fun, huh?
It sure does. You know, I was before the show aired, I was trying to think last time I was with you on the air with you guys, and it has been a while. It's been. I just remember the last time I was on, we had such a great time, and the time just literally flew by.
That's usually what happens when we have you here. But, of course, our friend Chris Balzano, our content director here at Spooky South Coast, when he took over the job this past summer, and we said, all right, Chris, you're responsible now for booking the show, he basically said right away, he's like, well, we got to get Rick Hayes back because you guys have waited too long since you've had him on.
Well, I'll say hello to Chris. He's a fantastic friend and a pretty good writer on the side, if I do say so myself.
He is, and the good thing about having him be part of our spooky crew now is it gives us, a reason to always be bringing him on the show. Before, it was just because a guest would cancel or we didn't do anything, so we'd have him, be our first guy off the bench. But now when we bring him on, we can say, oh, he's part of the show now. So it doesn't make us look like we didn't do our job anymore.
Well, again, it's a real pleasure to be back with you guys tonight. This is one of the shows that I really look forward to being a part of.
Well, you've been a pretty busy guy since the last time that we've had you on. You've been in documentaries. You've been doing these Living Life Supernaturally events and reflections with Rick Hayes Radio. It seems like there isn't a day that goes by that you're not using your life's gift to help others. Well,
and it's hard to believe, but it's been about close to 9 years now since I. As you know, throughout all my life, I have had these abilities. Didn't really share them with anyone because I didn't want everyone to think I was weird. And 9 years ago, we took that step and began Life's Gift, and it's just been a phenomenal experience each and every day. I just tell everyone I wake up every morning and really give thanks for my day, and just I can't wait to see what the day's going to bring. And as you mentioned, I mean, it's just been some just absolutely amazing experiences I've had in the last several years, being a part of the media and being a part of just going out and meeting all the friends out there and just sharing that this life is a supernatural life.
Well, I mean, you said it's been 9 years since you started doing this. And in that time, I mean, have you gotten to the point now where you couldn't imagine what it would be like to not be sharing this gift with the public?
Yeah, absolutely so. I mean, in fact, my right arm, Rhonda, we talked about that just a couple years ago. I said, I wonder what would have happened if I would have, had actually took that plunge and 20 years ago or 15 years ago. Because there are times I think, all those years maybe I wasted, And she had a really good response to that. She said, "The time wasn't now, Rick. The time is now. That's why you started now." And, it made so much sense to me. I thought, there's a time and a reason for a place for everything. And, I feel that 9 years ago was probably the time I was to begin. And the way I feel, I've got another 50, 80 years ahead of me, so I'm ready.
Well, one of the, I guess what we should do is we should explain to people, take a step back, because we have a lot of new listeners since the last time you've been on the show, and a lot of people watching us on Spooky TV at SpookySouthcoast.com. So if you're listening via audio link, just go to SpookySouthcoast.com/SpookyTV or click right on the link on the front page of our site. But why don't we remind people exactly what it is that you do as a paranormal communications consultant, because your approach to things is a little bit different than some of the other mediums that we've had on the show.
Well, thank you. I mean, I as I share, I recognized at a very early age that I had these abilities. I share the story that I can recall. I was probably around 4 or 5 years old, and I was one of those little kids who would get up in the middle of the night, sneak into my mom and dad's bed, and in the, a few minutes later, I thought I was being very sneaky about it. A few minutes later, they would carry me back in my room and put me back in bed and say, "Now, Rick, just, go back to sleep." And I'd say, "But there's that man over there keeps waking me up." And of course, I got very loving parents, but they would tell me, they'd say, "Well, Rick, you're just having a dream now. Go back to sleep." And I'd say, "Well, tell that to the guy, because he keeps waking me up." So, I mean, I grew up with these abilities and knowing that there's more than just life here. And but I just kept, as I said, I just kept it to myself. I didn't share it with anyone. And 9 years ago, I had an experience in my life, and with a dear friend, and for the first time, I shared my abilities outside my family. And from that point on, I mean, it's been like I said just a few minutes ago, that it's been absolutely an experience, and a phenomenal experience. And I feel there's a lot more to do, and that's the whole key. I mean, my whole key is to share with everyone, number one, get the most out of life here each day, because I truly feel before you can really truly understand the life after, you got to first embrace and value the day of life here. And you mentioned that maybe I was a little bit different. I don't feel like I'm different. I'm just like anyone else. But one of the things I really coach on, I just had someone share the other day. They said, "Rick, you're more like a life coach. You're like a psychic life coach." Mm-hmm. And I really believe that. I really believe that you got, this life you've been given here is very, very important. It's very, very valuable. And get the most each day that you can out of that life each day, because the more you get out of life here, the more you'll get out of life when you cross over. So that's, as far as the difference, I just believe in being positive and having that positive energy inside you, and not just in a spiritual sense, but also in your daily sense.
And that's what I mean when I say that you're different than some of the others that we have. A lot of mediums that we have come on the program, or that we've talked to in the past, they have the ability to share messages from loved ones. But with you, it seems like there's always that extra step. It's not just the message, but you seem to have an innate ability to interpret what that message is, so that even if the person receiving the message doesn't quite understand, you can help them understand it. Instead of, saying, "Well, why don't you go home and think about that and see what it means to you?" It's almost like it comes to you with the message, exactly what it is that the Spirit's trying to say.
Well, I'll give you a very good example. I had this just yesterday afternoon in a private consultation, and we had a loved one come through and began sharing messages, and this is the first time I meet these people, and I don't know them. And this first time we got to say hello to each other, and so it's as I validate some of the things, their messages they're sharing with me, as we do that, we continue to see. It helps me to understand who this person is, and it also brings validation to the person to the individual that I'm in consultation with. And a very good example of that yesterday. I mean, I had a group, what I call group session, and one of the individuals, I was sitting there, and we had an idea who this person was. And the more I shared the messages to her, the more she said, "I know this is him. I know this is him." And suddenly, and there's many different ways that these loved ones help me to relay the message, and one of the ways is what I call a picture postcard. And what this is they literally it's almost like taking a picture postcard and putting it in front of your eyes and taking it away. And I immediately got this picture postcard, and I looked at her, and I said, he's showing me a bowl of oatmeal. And she looked at me, and she says, I have no clue what that means. And I looked there, and I said, he's telling me you eat the oatmeal. And she started laughing, and she said, and I said, and this is a validation to you that he's with you during all your life. You know, every day he's around you. And he's saying this is kind of part of your habit, that you use something about oatmeal. She went on to tell me after that, she said that in the last year, she's lost close to 100 pounds, and part of this diet was having a bowl of oatmeal every morning. And so this, you know, and she's still doing this. And so this was a validation to her, but, you know, from her loved one, that he is there with her every day. And so, you know, that's just, if just by saying a bowl of oatmeal, like you said, I could have very easily said, well, go home and think about it. Mm-hmm. But this loved one kept saying, no, it's her. It's not me. It's her. And so with that, I shared the message, and then we understood who it was, definitely.
And when we first began talking with you a few years ago, I mean, I think we had you on in the first year of the program, 2006. You were
wow, has it been that long?
Yeah, one of our very first guests when we started this program out. And in the time between then and now, does it seem like, I mean, it seems to me now that you're using your abilities more with your radio show and doing a lot of live events. It seems like you're more out there with these abilities. Does it seem to come easier for you now because you've been using it so much? Does practice make perfect in this regard?
I tell you what, I'm still nervous every time right before any event. Right before this show, I'm still nervous and right before every private consultation, I'm nervous because it is. I do feel I'm getting. You know, I do have a complete confidence in that there's life after. I have complete confidence in that loved ones, if they have a message, will share with me to share with them. But where I get nervous is within myself, where I say, "Wow, what if nobody shows up? You know, what if what I share doesn't make any sense?" And that's a little bit, you know. But I'm seeing where that's less and less now, and you know, it's just like anything that you do. The more that if you have a gift, if you have any type of gift or any kind of talent, any kind of skill, you know, for example, if you love to paint, and the more you paint, the better you're going to be, and the more you're going to embrace and really get to understand what this gift is all about. And I feel it's the same thing with these abilities. You know, I think part of it is because I came out in the public and shared with these abilities, instead of all these years of just wholly repressing them and keeping them to myself, it's allowed me to open up as much as well.
Well, we have a caller here on the line, and I'm going to guess that it's somebody that wants to have a reading. And now, Rick, from what I understand with Chris, you are going to be doing some readings for the listeners, but as usual, our format here, we'd like to keep that for the second hour. Because you know, we want to talk with Rick and catch up. So
okay, yeah.
Let's take this call, and if it is people waiting for readings, you know, we'll encourage them to call back an hour or two. Yeah, see, there goes one. All right, let's take this call here and see if that's somebody that has a question for Rick.
Actually, I was calling in for a reading, but you know what? I can come up with a question, I think.
Okay.
How's it going, Rick?
Great. How you doing this evening?
I'm not doing too bad. Great to hear you.
I got to tell you, everybody knows me. They ask me how you doing. I tell them I am awesome.
I'd be doing better if the Boston Bruins could get their heads out of their butts. That'd be great.
No kidding.
Let's go Bruins.
Quick question. Yeah. I know I was listening just as you started off, and you were talking about early on when you started developing and realizing what you've got as a gift there. Have you been able to, how was it as you refined it as you get older? Did it change at all, or has it been pretty much the same?
It's been pretty much the same, and thank you for calling. It's been pretty much the same. The difference is it's been me. It's where I've learned, I've learned how to receive the messages more openly, how to give you a very good example. I shared about the oatmeal. I mean, before, in fact, at the very beginning when I started doing private consultations, I mean, I would get these images, and it was like Well, I'm not going to tell them that. They already think I'm weird, you know. And so it's almost I would keep myself from sharing it. But now I've learned that what I am given may not make sense to me, but it is a validation to the loved one I'm sharing. So, I mean, I think I've changed in a way where I'm allowing myself to understand just to share them.
You've taken yourself out of it. You've taken the subjectivity out of it and just passed on the message instead of putting in some sort of filter.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, if you know me, I'm one of those guys that says, "Let's do it." You know, let's go. Let's whatever. You know, if there's a ditch in front of us, we're going to jump it. You know, and I just go headstrong. But there's also times I would say, "No, I feel I'm not going to say." And I did that at the very beginning, but now I've, especially in the last 5, 6, 7 years, I just share. Whatever I feel, whatever I'm being received, any images, any messages, I just share and just say it. And it amazes me a lot because whenever I'll say what they're sharing with me, right away I'll get a validation from the individual. They say, I know exactly what he's talking about or what she's talking about, and it's like, well, good, because I had no clue.
Well, we have somebody made a comment in the chat room on Spooky TV, said, "Don't kill the messenger," and that's the approach you should take whenever you have a reading done, and we will be willing to do those in the second hour. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was going to say, and not basically becoming a psychic censor.
Yeah, no kidding. That's
thanks, Rick.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
And you can try calling back an hour or two, and when we do the readings, and that's what's that's the bread and butter for whenever we have a psychic or a medium on the program, is everybody wants to call and get the readings. But like I said, we want some time to catch up with Rick. It's been a while since we talked to him. One of the things that I want to talk with you about, Rick, is your involvement in these documentaries with the Booth brothers, because you have appeared in The Possessed and Soul Catcher as well.
Absolutely, and first of all, the Booth brothers are just phenomenal guys. I mean, I love working with them because they allow you to be, and they do a lot of research. Their films isn't just, within 6 months they start filming. I mean, just for example, The Possessed, they spent almost 2 years of nothing but research before we even start filming the Possessed. Just to make sure that it could be as factual as can be. And what I shared with the way I got in with The Possessed is they actually contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested, and I shared with them. I said, well, there's 3 things that I usually request. Is number one, I don't want to know anything about the location we're going to, or any history of the location, because I feel like when I get there, I'm gonna find out more about it through the messages I'm receiving than what you can tell me. And the second request is that I want to allow me to be me. I understand when you do a film, there's certain steps you got to follow and there's certain scenes you got to do, but don't have me being on there and start shaking and all this and being a fake. I want to be me. And and the last thing, always, it's kind of a teaser, but I always say, make sure you got M&Ms in my green room. but that's just a joke. But yeah, I mean, The Possessed was a phenomenal film to be a part of, and we're looking forward to Soul Catcher. It was, I think, the DVD scheduled to come out at the end of this month, first next month, and then it'll be on Sci-Fi toward the end of the year. And the Booth brothers are always working, and they got some others coming up, and you'll be hearing from them very, very soon.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the research they put into it, because the Booth brothers do take a lot of flack in the paranormal community for some of these documentaries that they put out, because they are, they're entertainment as well as information, and they have a lot of cutaway scenes and like scary things. They try to make them very spooky and very scary in their presentation, but they're factually, they do the work, and they bring in the right people to come in and comment on it, and they do a good job of presenting the information in a way that gives people the thrills and chills that they're looking for.
Absolutely, and I mean, that's one of the things that I, when they contacted me and asked me if I would be interested, I absolutely jumped on it. I said, because I knew I knew about their films before, and I knew what they had done to create these films, and I knew it wasn't going to be a lot of hidden strings, pulling chairs, and things like that. So, And what you see on The Possessed is exactly what happened. And that was literally me going in. You didn't see this on the film. For example, when I first got there, I got out of the vehicle and I immediately started walking up to the home because that's the first time I actually seen the home. And I walked up to the home, and as I started walking up, I felt that I need to go up the steps there's a double doors to the front door, and I felt the need to go to the doors and look in the glass in the doors. And I walked up there, and Phil Booth was working on a camera next to me. And I looked in there, and there's this little energy of this little girl standing in the stairway. And I looked over to Phil, and I said, "There's a little girl energy in there wanting me to come in." And Phil started freaking out. He started saying, "Rick, we don't have you mic'd up yet. We don't have the camera. Was she wait?" And I looked at him and I said, "Well, yeah, she's got all the time in the world. She's not going anywhere." So but everything that was in that film, and that's what you get with a lot of documentaries with the Booth brothers is it's fact. There's everything you saw. For example, The Possessed, the images on the thermal camera. That was really there. So it's a great time, and always look forward to projects with the Booth brothers.
Sure, and it's just like paranormal television. The documentary process of what's going on might be legitimate, but there's some editing to make it, give it some creepy music and things like that. But
absolutely.
We do have some questions coming from the chat room at Spooky TV, and one of them is a person wanted to know if you ever worked with the police on any cases.
Oh yes, and I share with everyone, when a door opens for you in your life, when a door of opportunity opens, it's meant for you to walk through it. It's an opportunity for you. And when I first started, when I first came out with Life's Gift, my intentions was to share it to as many across the world as I could, that life is an everlasting gift. And immediately started writing books, and I didn't know I could write. And then from there, along the last few years, I started getting contacted about missing persons, about cold cases. Been very active with those. It's hard for me. To be upfront with you, it's hard for me because, for example, young children who are missing, when I get contacted with those, I want them to walk in their home and say, Disney World was great. And the messages I get sometimes are very hard. Give you a very example. I guess one of the most that everyone knows about is the Kaylee Anthony down in Florida. I guess about 2 weeks after she was missing, I had a friend of theirs contact me and send me a picture of Kaylee and ask me if there was anything I could receive. I started receiving them, started focusing on the photo, and I started seeing these images. I started seeing a trash bag. I started hearing Mommy's Mad at Me. I started seeing birds flying overhead, just little things like that. Mm-hmm. So I shared with a friend. I said, first thing I shared was, I said, listen to your experts, listen to the legal and the law enforcement. They're the experts in this field. But I shared with them the messages, and I also shared. I said she'll be very, very close to home. And unfortunately, I want to be wrong. I want her to walk in and say Disney World was great, but I really feel like she's going to be found. And it's going to be very close to home, and I saw like a brick building. And, of course, they did find the body a couple months later. But, the way I look at it, guys, is if it's meant for me to share a message, then I'm going to share the message.
Mm-hmm. Well, and speaking of sharing messages, coming up in the next hour when we take some calls and do some readings for the listeners, we've talked in the past with you about the way that it works for you. You get these images, or you get like a whisper in your ear, a voice in your ear. Is there a difficulty in doing it over the phone? Is it much harder to do it over the phone than it is in person?
Well, it is and it isn't. It is a little bit more. I don't want to say easier, a little more comfortable for me if I'm in person with an individual, because it's just like if I was in the studio there now instead of being on the phone several states away, if I was actually there in the studio, I would have a connection right there. But telephone, with the telephone, it's more of what I hear and the images I receive. If I'm with someone in person, I actually can see them or I can actually see their what I call their light energy, their light spirit of energy, and just to validate that they are there. But it's not. I don't want to say it's any harder. It's just different.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can say that one of the things that definitely sold me on your abilities, Rick, was the first time we had you on. I was getting out of the car before the show, and I kind of tweaked my back. I messed it up a little bit earlier in the day, but I really tweaked it coming in. And this is before we had Spooky TV, so there was no studio camera. And we were just talking, and it had come through to you, and you actually were communicating with my grandparents. And you had mentioned that somebody in the studio had done something to their back, and that's when because I know I wasn't giving it away in the sound of my voice because I was trying really hard not to let the pain come through, and so that sold me on it. So ever since then, you've always been somebody that we've highly recommended to others when they've told us they're looking for a spirit medium.
Absolutely, and I've been promising you this for last time I was on the show, and I'm going to promise you again tonight. I am going to be up in your area, and I'm going to be coming in the studio, and we're doing this live sometime.
Oh, that'll be excellent. And we'll fulfill our other promise that we made to you of getting you over to Lizzie Borden's house and seeing what comes through for you over there.
Absolutely. That's a very very interesting place.
And I know that if there's anybody that can communicate with what's over there, it's you, and you can finally tell it what I think of it. It doesn't seem to listen when I tell it, so... Now, when you have started doing all these Living Life Supernaturally events, what's that like when somebody goes out to one of these events and sees you at a convention or a conference when you're doing one of these presentations?
Well, this is something new that we, every year we try to bring something different to the speaking events. Any invitations I receive, we work on something different, something fresh, something new every year. This year's Living Life Supernaturally, and what it is the events through Life's Gift Seminars is a 3-hour event. The first hour and a half is where I share about where it's been mentioned that me living 1 foot here and 1 foot on the other side, and I share about some of my personal life experiences with these abilities I've been given. Also, some behind the scenes of some of the filming I've done, like for the Travel Channel this past summer and things like that. And then the last hour and a half is where we have what we call a group session. Others call them gallery readings. We get together right there, and I start sharing the messages I'm receiving to those individuals who are in the audience, and we just have a great time. It's an inspirational time, and just a lot of fun. And we're going to have one. I think our next one is April the 30th. It's going to be very, very near Gettysburg. In fact, I'm going to be taking a little tour of Gettysburg while I'm there. We're going to have the next event April 30th at Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, and we're going to what's called the Haunted Cottage. So we're going to be doing a little tour of that as well.
Sounds excellent. And it sounds to me like when you are out there with all these people and making these connections for them, I'm sure that even those who don't have somebody come through to them are probably leaving feeling a little bit more connected to the other side.
Yeah, and really, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, it really bothers me because, we'll have 80 to 250, 300, 400 people there. And, of course, in an hour and a half, I would love to get to each and every one to share messages. And when when I say there's 100 people there, really there's more like 1,000, 1,500 there because each one of these individuals that are actually in attendance brought their loved ones with them who's moved on. So, I mean, I see a lot of people when we go to these events, but I mean, we receive, and it bothers me, I can't get to everyone, but I tell you what, it's such an inspiration because after these events, we get so many emails sharing with us, Rick, you didn't really get to me, but I still left there with something just hearing from some of the others and some of the validations they received, and it's changed my life as well. That's what it's all about, is us growing together and learning together about this life and the life after.
And that's one of the things that always happens when we have you here on the show and we take calls is I hear from listeners who say, even though I didn't get through, when I heard somebody else have a reading and it sounded like he was so dead on with the information he was providing that, it encourages them. They go to your website, they go to lifesgift.com and they try to book a private session with you. And that's probably the best way to do it, right? Because you're not under any real time constraints, no pressure to worry about dead air when you need to take a moment to listen to the loved one from the other side. When somebody gets you one-on-one on the telephone, I'm sure that's probably the optimal experience for somebody in our area.
Absolutely. I mean, I wish I could get to everyone in person, but we did accommodate when we began. I wanted to accommodate anyone, no matter where they was located. And so for those we couldn't meet in person, we set up where we could do what we call telesessions. These are consultations through the telephone. And we usually, I don't really put a time limit on it, but they usually run about an hour and 15 minutes. And, and it's a full one-on-one. I just share with everyone when we're in consultation, just relax. It's two friends talking on the telephone. Others are going to join us, and we're going to basically have like three-way calling, where everybody's going to join. So, but I mean, it's just like I said, I wish I could get to everyone. I mean, that would be the ultimate for me. But we've got other ways that we can connect with our loved ones. I got to ask you this. There's something about a baseball bat with somebody in the studio there. I keep hearing something about a baseball bat. So I don't know if someone's got a baseball bat or what.
Well, now you're jumping ahead of what I'm going to promo in the second hour.
Oh, okay.
a fundraiser that I'm going to promote here in the second hour. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But you did mention three-way calling, and one question that I want to ask you before we get into the readings next hour is, since the last time we've talked, there's been a proliferation of all these devices to communicate with the dead that people are making in their own homes or buying on eBay and buying online. And it seems like everybody has these technological ways to try to do what it is that you do, obviously with not as much of a success rate and not coming as easily to them. But what are your thoughts on these devices like the Frank's box and the Ovilus and these different transcommunication devices that supposedly allow us to speak with those who have passed on?
Well, first of all, I want to really commend all the paranormal investigators out there and the groups out there that are, I really love working with them because, I learn from you guys. I learn from the investigators, and because the technologist is absolutely phenomenal, especially what's been coming out in the last year. And all we're doing is we're all working together to show that there's more than just life here. But as far as the equipment out there, I mean, like I said, it's been absolutely amazing. I remember Bill Chappell, as a friend of mine, and when he first came out with the Ovilus, I mean, I just totally freaked out on it. I thought this is amazing, and we use it quite often when we go to different locations. And I don't use it personally because for me, if it's almost like Dolby Stereo. If I'm hearing it from someone else, and then I hear it through this Ovilus. But I mean, can it be possible? I look at it this way. I believe so. I believe our loved ones are trying to just simply saying, we're here. We want you to know we're here. We're trying to help you to let you know that we're here. And these things out there, these electronic things, I totally believe it's a great thing. I will say this, though, and this is where I'm maybe a little bit different. You hear about how the batteries are drained in an equipment. They had to drain the batteries to manifest themselves. I'm a little bit different on that because all the energies that are in these batteries is man-made, and it's a different type of energies. I feel what they're basically doing is they're saying, we got to show you we're here, so we're going to drain your battery. I don't need the energy, but I'm going to drain your battery just to validate you and let you see something in concrete, let you know we're here.
Well, see, now that makes me angry. It was fine when I thought they needed the energy. Now it's a different story when I know they're doing it just to mess with me because I need those batteries. You know how much batteries cost, especially these lithium-ion batteries? You
know what? I share with everyone. I have a stock in light bulbs in my house. I mean, I go through light bulbs like you can't believe, and it's frustrating because it's like, I know you're here. You don't have to do that, but but sometimes I go through a regular day myself, and sometimes I need a validation, a concrete validation, what I call physical sign or physical validation to show us that they're around us. And sometimes they'll do that. When you go to these locations to investigate, they're basically saying, you want to know we're here? Let me do something with your camera, and we'll show you. I'll just share this with you on the upcoming film Soul Catcher. We was at a place, a location, and we was originally there for the filming of something completely different than what we actually captured. And Bill Chappell had his equipment there, and he had these lasers going down a hallway, on three different circuits. And I was connecting with this little girl, and I started sharing with this little girl. I said, "You want to have fun?" Because there was other children there as well. I said, "You want to have some fun?" I said, "Let's play a game with the lights." And immediately, one of Bill Chappell's assistants came over and said, "Bill, we got a problem with the lasers. They all just froze." And he said, "What do you mean froze?" And he said, "They froze." And he said, "Well, they can't freeze. They're on three different circuits." And he said, "I'm telling you, they all froze at the same time." And I had to laugh because this little girl was telling me that we was going to play a game on them, play a trick on them, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, I'll say this much: if those who have passed on want to leave me a physical validation, a sign that they're there, large sums of cash found inexplicably would work for me.
Well, that's so funny. We hear about how they leave coins, they leave pennies, they leave nickels, they leave dimes. I'm trying to get my relatives to drop $100 bills around.
Yeah,
That's
no
what
kidding.
I want to start seeing.
No kidding. I mean, they know Ben Franklin personally. Probably they can get him to pose for a new portrait.
That's right.
All right, well, we're coming up against the news here. When we come back on the other side, we will open the phones up for you to get a reading from Rick and to experience his gift, life's gift for yourself. And I think you'll be amazed. Even if you don't get through, you'll want to check out his website, lifesgift.com, to set up an arrangement to have one of his telesessions. Also coming up in the second hour, we will talk about, speaking of the baseball bats, we'll talk about a fundraiser that I need everybody's help with. And we'll also check in with another spirit medium, Tiffany Rice, who's going to tell us about her new show that debuts on Spooky TV coming up in just a couple weeks, Spirit Connections with Tiffany Rice. So right after we come back from the news, we'll have Tiffany on for a few minutes to talk about that. And I'm going to bring her on the phone with you, Rick, because I'd like to see if when two spirit mediums talk to each other, if it's kind of like, Time Cop, where they cancel each other out and the whole universe blows.
Sounds fun.
So we'll do that. We'll talk about her show as well. And if you want to check out Spooky TV anytime, you can check out the archives at SpookySouthCoast.com as well. And I know we have to get last week's show up. We were doing pretty good before that. But all right, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with more with Rick Hayes and your calls on Spooky South Coast.
First with local news, talk, and sports. This is WBSM New Bedford, Citadel Broadcasting, AM 1420, WBSM.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Killer storms keep pounding after killing 17 in 4 states. Several more deaths from possible tornadoes and straight-line winds in the Carolinas. Lee County, North Carolina.
I mean, just listening to it coming, and you could just see all the clouds just sucking in, and that's when I ran inside and told her to shut all the doors.
In Raleigh.
My bedroom, my granddaughter's room is totally demolished.
Homes and businesses flattened, cars flipped over, trees uprooted, power lines ripped down. Urban search and rescue teams are out, rain and winds pounding the northeast. Rescue teams are clearing debris from a collapsed tunnel at a northern Idaho silver, zinc, and lead mine, trying to find a miner missing more than a mile underground.
The collapse occurred Friday at the Lucky Friday mine in Mullen, Idaho. Hecla mining spokeswoman Melanie Hennessy says one miner escaped, a second was trapped.
Rescue efforts have been underway since shortly after this occurred to essentially remove the material needed to access the area where the employee was working.
But with the miner trapped some 6,000 feet underground, Amy Louviere of the Mine Safety and Health Administration isn't offering a timetable.
It's really hard to say at this point whether this is going to have a good outcome.
Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Calmer winds are helping crews battling a few huge Texas wildfires. Some evacuees have returned to their homes or to what's left of them. One fire started accidentally by a welder's torch spanning 3 counties is now 90% contained. The FAA says it'll try to negotiate a change in air traffic controller scheduling to reduce the chance of dozing off on duty. ABC News aviation consultant John Nance.
Fatigue is a very serious thing, and systemically, you can't just go around lopping heads off. If things like this keep happening, you've got to look to the system itself. He's exactly right. You've got to change the scheduling, change the way air traffic control puts its people on and off duty, and that's going to get to the heart of the problem.
You're listening to ABC News.
Micro talked to a real Ford service advisor surrounded by lots of tires.
Am I crazy, Fiona, or is this a lot of tires?
Well, Mike.
Don't answer. How many tires does Ford buy every year?
Over 3 million.
That's a lot of tires.
Well, we carry 11 major brands.
Buy 4 select tires, get a $100 rebate, and that's on top of the low price tire guarantee.
So the chances are very good that if I need new tires, you have them.
Yes.
At a good price.
Absolutely.
Competitors ad required for tire guarantee. See participating dealership or visit FordOwner.com for rebate details through 5/31/11.
At the Fram Proving Grounds, failure is not an option. Because failure to trap dirt is not an option for your engine. That's why Fram filters are tested beyond any conditions you'll ever encounter, proven beyond any limits you'll ever push. From the Fram Extra Guard air filter to the Fram Tough Guard oil filter that traps 99% of dirt, Fram's tough technology helps keep miles of wear and tear off your engine. You count on your engine to run right, so it's counting on you to choose the right filter. Fram. Don't fail your engine. Find the right filters at fram.com.
Meeting a major demand of Egyptian protesters, the courts ordered the dissolving of former President Mubarak's political party. Thousands of anti-government protesters, including thousands of women, gathered in Yemen's capital to denounce President Ali Saleh's comments that the mingling of men and women at protests in the capital was against Islamic law. There's been a growing number of young women joining the protests. Giving a definite answer on some reforms after 4 weeks of sometimes violent, deadly protests, Syrian leader Bashar Assad, here in a speech today before his cabinet, saying he expects his government to lift nearly 50 years of emergency laws next week. Demonstrators consider the laws repressive, including authority of police to arrest people without charge. But Assad warned that further unrest in Syria will be considered sabotage. Arrests of high school students who were protesting tardiness fines.
4 students at Skyline High in Salt Lake City were arrested Friday and led away in handcuffs after refusing to leave a protest on school grounds over fines imposed for being late to class. District policy provides for fining students up to $5 for being late. As many as 100 students walked out of class before the bell and, according to security officials, rampaged through the halls, banging on lockers, yelling and barging into classrooms to protest the fines, which they say are used selectively to punish only certain students for being as little as 30 seconds late. Joan Bennett, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
Mortgages should be illegal because you're getting robbed every month. With a typical $200,000 30-year mortgage, you'll end up paying over $400,000 after interest. Hi, I'm John Commuta, creator of the Transforming Debt into Wealth system. My proven system can eliminate your mortgage and all your debts. Let me send you a powerful free CD. For your free CD, call 1-800-618-4001. 1-800-618-4001. 1-800-618-4001.
Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Let's say you're a dad and you want to take your son and daughter on the perfect camping trip. So you pack up the car with all your gear. We're all loaded up. And you get the right direction.
Arriving at destination.
And you set up camp right next to a creek.
I caught a fish!
And it all goes perfectly.
Best trip ever, Dad!
And you're the perfect dad. But even if it doesn't go that way and your gear ends up on the highway and you get completely lost.
Where are you going?
And your campground is near a beehive. It can still be the perfect camping trip because kids don't always see things the way you see them.
Best trip ever, Dad!
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
My name is Sue Smith. I'm 38 years old, and I work at a graphic design company. Which is funny, because I couldn't even draw a stick figure when I was a kid. But I met someone who told me, you know what? You can do anything if you really want to. And if the teenage me were here, she'd tell you,
I wouldn't be into drawing and art if it wasn't for big brothers, big sisters. Most kids from my neighborhood don't get into art. They get into trouble. But I was lucky because my big sister showed me early on that I didn't have to be like most people. And to the young me,
that meant a lot. My big sister's name is Sheila, and Sheila is the reason that this 8-year-old grows up to have an amazing job as a graphic designer.
Whether you donate money or time, you're helping Big Brothers Big Sisters help a child, and that can last a lifetime. Start something today at BigBrothersBigSisters.org. Brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Ad Council.
My name is Tom Thornton.
And my name is Cindy Thornton. We're retired, and this is how we live united.
We decided to volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
United Way is how we contribute, because we know our time and money are going to the right places.
Judging by the thank yous we get at the clinic, I'd say we're doing the right thing with our retirement, too. We're Tom and Cindy Thornton. We volunteer at our community free health clinic. We don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Before his injury, John Bennett was a career soldier. While serving in Iraq, he was shot by a sniper.
Stepped out, turned back towards the Humvee, and as soon as I did, I got hit. It shattered 2 vertebrae and fractured another one. I ended up losing my right kidney, my spleen, my colon, and half my pancreas.
John's wife, Dina.
Paralyzed Veterans of America got us our benefits.
Senior National Service Officer Michael Killen.
I helped him fill out the forms. I hand carried the forms over to the VA and walked them through the system.
You're just trying to survive, and they help you along the way.
It's very nice to see when your work pays off and you're very successful in it, because you can see the change in that veteran.
Him starting a taxidermy business is accomplishing something every day.
I'm glad to be back to work.
To learn more about Paralyzed Veterans of America, visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
This heavyweight bout is about to begin. The challenger wears white trunks with a blue stripe, and the champ is wearing, looks like an examination gown from the doctor's office. And from the back, we can... Ooh, that's not pretty. Champ, what's with the crazy getup?
I've got to take care of my family.
Yeah, so?
Well, when you love your family, you got to go in and get those important medical screenings. Potentially deadly diseases can be treated if you catch them in time.
So you wear the examination gown because...
Because I'm a real man. Real men take care of their families and get those tests. Real men wear gowns.
Okay, champ, good luck. Here we go. The champ's not wasting any time. It's over. This fight is over. Champ, you barely broke a sweat. Any words for your fans out there?
Remember, go to ahrq.gov for a list of the tests they need to get and when to get them.
What was that web address again?
ahrq.gov. And remember, real men wear gowns.
Go to ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, AHRQ, and the Ad Council.
Spooky South Coast is back.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Well, we'll wait.
Or something that isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 of Spooky South Coast. Tim Weisberg here, along with the silent assassin Matt Costa, science advisor Matt Moniz, and we are talking with our guest Rick Hayes. He's a paranormal communications consultant, and we are going to be opening the phones in just a little bit for you to get a reading from Rick and experience his gift, life's gift, for yourself. And if you go to his website, lifesgift.com, you can find out more about Rick, and you can find out how to get one of these readings via telesession for yourself, or maybe you're in an area where he's coming with one of his Living Life Supernaturally presentations. So lifesgift.com is the website. It's linked up on the front page of SpookySouthCoast.com as well. Also, a couple of little housekeeping notes here for the program. I mentioned before when Rick was talking about a baseball bat, my son Adam is involved in a fundraiser for Wareham Little League, and I'm turning to the listeners to help us out with this, because basically I really want him to be the highest fundraiser here, because here's the deal. Wareham is having a 24-hour baseball game May 28th through the 29th at the fields in the Wareham Little League complex. And basically what's going to happen is they're going to play a game 24 straight hours through, starting with the T-ball kids and working all the way up. And everybody wants to play the overnight games, of course, but what's going to end up happening is whoever raises the most money is going to, well, if they raise $250, which is an amazing accomplishment in itself, then they're going to get to have lunch with former Red Sox shortstop Nomar Garciaparra, which is amazing. But if you're amongst the top 10 fundraisers, you get to sit at the head table. And if you're amongst the top 2, you get to sit right next to Nomar. And I know the Spooky South Coast audience is so generous, and I know that they're such great Red Sox fans, at least the ones that are in the local area, that they're going to want to see Adam sit next to Nomar. So we're trying to get everybody to try to donate at least a few dollars to help out this great cause. A portion of all the proceeds raised goes to Nomar's charity as well. So it's not just benefiting Wareham Little League. It's also benefiting Nomar's charity as well. And the website is wareham's24hrballgame.com.org. So it's Wareham, WAREHAMS 24, the numbers 2 and 4, hrballgame.org/player/AdamW. And we'll have it linked up on SpookySouthCoast.com as well as the days go by. It's also up on my Facebook page as well. So if you want to make a donation, you can either do it via PayPal, electronically, it'll show up right away, or you can print out the form and mail it into Wareham Little League, and they'll update the website as they come in. So we're offering a little bit of a prize here. If you are the highest person that donates to Adam's fundraiser, we will give you a Spooky South Coast t-shirt, a signed copy of Ghosts of the South Coast, a bumper sticker, and a pen. That's the best prize package we can put together. So you'll get that if you're the highest donation. Right now, the highest donation comes from our friend Richard Davis. Thank you, Richard, for that. He made a $100 donation. So that's the number to top right now to try to win that prize package. Again, warehams24hrballgame.org/player/AdamW. It's just easier just to go to my Facebook, Tim Weisberg on Facebook, and you'll find the link there as well. All right, we have all the calls lined up. We want to get to you absolutely to take calls, to have readings from Rick. But before we do that, real quickly, let's go to that second guest line there, because we want to bring on Tiffany Rice, whose new show, Spirit Connections with Tiffany Rice, is going to debut on Spooky TV on Tuesday, April 26th at 9 p.m. And Tiffany, welcome to the show. You're on with us and with Rick Hayes.
Hi, guys. Hi, Rick. How you doing?
Hi, Tiffany.
It's so good to hear you.
It's a pleasure to work with you tonight.
Now, Tiffany, we've been talking about this show for a while, and we had a test run the other night, and I got to tell you, it looked great. It looked like everything's ready to go. It seems like you've got it figured out, and I know you're a little bit nervous about it, but we've got 2 weeks here to mess around with and practice some more. So, what have you got?
I do.
What have you got planned for the first program coming up?
Well, actually, I have a couple things going on. I'm not sure if it's going to be ready for the first program or not, but I have some guests that I have lined up to come on. Basically, what it is, it's going to be a half-hour program just talking about spirit communication and how it's affected or enhanced your life. I want to kind of have a Q&A session. So I'm asking everyone who's listening tonight, if you are interested, please email any questions you may have about connecting with loved ones in spirit. You can email me at tiffcat3, Tiff, cat, which is CAT, 3, @gmail.com, or you can get in touch with me on Facebook at Spirit Medium Tiffany. So I would love to answer your questions on the program. I also want to talk about how spirit communication affects the paranormal field and how it enhances how we can get evidence through connecting with spirits using a medium, not just using digital voice recorders or video camera. So, yeah, I want to touch base on that. I also want to touch base on table tipping a little bit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with table tipping at all.
Oh, yeah.
But that's another form of communication that I have tried, and I actually really do enjoy doing that. And again, I do want to have just discussions, just kind of get opinions on how everybody feels about spirit communication and so on.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like it's going to be something that each week you're going to come away with it, hopefully appreciating the ability of spirit communication a little bit more, and also either having more curiosity about it or satisfying some of your curiosity about it.
I hope so. That's the whole point of the show, is that I want people to just try to open up their minds just a little bit more than they already have. I mean, obviously you have some pretty great listeners that I know of firsthand that listen to your show on a weekly basis, so I have a feeling, hopefully, that they would be interested enough to take a peek at my show, too. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, we know we're going to pack that chat room the first night with plenty of questions, and email plenty of questions to tiffcat3@gmail.com. And the Spooky TV page is going to get a little bit of a web design redesign between now and then, so it'll be easier for people to get in touch with you. And I'm just excited because now there's so much time that just sits there empty, and I know that there's a great community out there that can really benefit from, seeing a show like this. So hopefully everybody will come in and tune in, and I know you're going to do great. I don't know why you're so nervous, Tiffany.
Well, I'm a nervous Nelly.
All right. Well, good luck with that.
Especially since it's on video.
Good luck with that, since you'll be the one right in front of the camera coming up on April 26th at 9 p.m. on Spooky TV. That's SpookySouthcoast.com/SpookyTV is the way to get there. Thanks, Tiff, and I'll talk to you later on this week.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Good luck, Rick.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oops, sorry, I cut her off there. Which I'll be doing quite a bit on her own show. I'll be logging in there and just shutting her down from time to time just to mess with her. No, that's going to be very exciting. That's going to be the first show that debuts on Spooky TV, and we hope to have many more that will be coming down the pipeline as we go along. I've been talking to some people about some stuff, and it's really exciting. So we'll get into all that. All right, Rick.
When is it again, just so we can make sure?
One more time. It's April 26th, Tuesday, April 26th at 9 p.m. It's a week from this Tuesday. So that'll be a chance to check it out. And also, if you need a little something to get you by midweek, check out Darkness Radio this Wednesday night. If you go to darknessradio.com, it's the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show with Dave Schrader, Tim Dennis, and Mally Fox. I was very excited to be invited to join them that night. So I will be on the program Wednesday, and that'll give you kind of a midweek little spooky fix a little bit. We're going to be talking about some of the ghosts of the South Coast, and they have a great show over there. So definitely check that out, and you can listen to it all week long. They're on Monday through Friday. It's on at 11 p.m. Eastern time. It's 10 p.m. Central time. Did I get that right? I think it's midnight. Anyway, I can't tell time zones apart, so just go to darknessradio.com and you'll get everything together. All right, Rick, are you ready to roll here with some of these calls? Because they're all backed up.
Absolutely, but before we get started, I just want to, with your permission, what I'd like to do is add a little bit to that fundraising pack. If I'd like to add a copy of the DVD, The Possessed, and I'll sign it and autograph for the winner. So if we can add that to your package, it'd be our pleasure to do so.
Well, thank you so much, Rick. So there you
Absolutely.
go. That's even more reason to have a few dollars to donate. And Rick, when you get a baseball bat coming at you, I'm hoping that is a visualization that he's going to win this thing.
I feel a home run coming.
All right, there you go. All right, and again, now let's just explain to all the callers how we want it to work. We're going to take their first name, and you want to ask them who it is that they want to speak with, who they want to make a communication with.
Yeah, well, they can if they have a question about someone. We can do that. I usually share. I let them come through for me. We usually get the same old question. The same question is, do you see anyone around me? And my answer to that is, there's always someone around you. They're guiding you. But if they have a specific question, we can ask that. It's more than welcome to ask that. Or if there's someone there that wants to share a message with us, we'll do that as well.
And I'm telling you from experience, sometimes it's just best to just let Rick do his thing, because you never know what's going to come through. All right, Matt Costa, you've had the tough job of trying to keep track of who called in first. So let's go right to the phones. And if you want to call in, when there is a phone line open, the phone numbers are 1-877-996-1420 or 508-996-0500. They're both posted up at SpookySouthCoast.com, and one of them is right on the screen at Spooky TV. So, all right, good evening. You are on Spooky South Coast with Rick Hayes. Can we have your name, please?
Oh, I guess that's me, Jeannie.
Jeannie. All right.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hi.
You have a question?
Nothing specific, I guess. Whoever wants to come and say hello, I'm here.
Okay. First of all, I need to ask you, you must be at home, because I do feel like I'm in a living room area. I feel like there's a couch in this home, which most people have couches in their home, but I feel like this individual that's coming through is wanting me to share with you that they sit on the other end of the couch a lot. Okay? Uh-huh. And when you're in this room, they're sitting on the other end. I feel like, actually, not one, but I feel like there's two coming through. And they're coming through together, which is telling me that they would know each other, of course, and this is family. I don't know if it's a mother-grandfather or maybe husband-wife, but I'm feeling something like that as well.
Okay.
And they're also want me to share with you something about it's time to change the curtains.
It's always time to change the curtains.
Oh, okay. And, and is there a grandmother, grandfather, both have moved on?
Both, yeah, on both sides.
Okay. Well, I really feel like I'm being more pulled to your mom's side.
Okay, that's who I knew. I didn't know the other two, so.
Okay, and I really feel like the female is wanting to talk more than the male. But,
always.
But okay, and they're really want me to share with you how it's almost like they were, when you made the call in, they were right there waiting for you to call in so they could acknowledge to us that they're around you. And they also want me to also say, I don't know how close you are to your mom, but as far as where you live, but they're wanting you to know just because there's some apartness there that they're with both of you. Okay.
Okay.
And they're doing very well, by the way. And I don't know if one moved on, and one moved on several years before the other one did.
Yes.
It's almost like to let you know that to them, that time apart was never lost.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling in.
Hey, thanks.
Sorry, but they also show me a heart, which is telling me that may be a connection to a month of February for you as well.
February. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Judy.
Thank you.
Yeah, good night.
Bye-bye. All right, Matt, whatever one is next. Good evening. You're on with Rick Hayes. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi, can we have your name, please?
Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you?
Good, great. I'm awesome. You have a question?
I wondered if you could tell me who is around me the most.
Okay. First of all, I need to ask you, Mary, the first thing I felt was, have you lost something recently? Have you misplaced something or lost something?
No.
Okay. Will you keep in mind that I'm sharing that with you tonight? And I feel like it's nothing. It's almost like you've laid something down and really you feel like it's been misplaced, and you're going to wonder where it's at. You're going to find it right. You're going to find it right away, and they're telling me not to panic because you're going to find it right away. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. And I do feel like we're in the home as we're talking about, so it's almost like it's something to do in the home.
Okay.
I really feel I really feel connection to you, Mary, but I feel like it's someone that you may not know. You might have to do a little research on this person. I feel like it's almost like a great-grandmother or a great-great-grandmother, and this would be on your dad's side. Do you know much about your dad's side?
No, my dad immigrated to this country, and I don't know anyone on that
Okay,
side.
they're really pushing me very hard that they really want you to know more about them. And so what I recommend is to do some research. I think what you're going to find, there's a name connection, and when you find the name, it's going to be really significant to you. And it's either a first name or a middle name. It's not the last name, but the first name or middle name is going to be very connected to you. Okay?
Okay.
And you said immigrated over. I feel like, I really feel like we're looking around. When you're doing some research, you may want to look around between 1904 and 1909.
My father was born in 1909.
Okay, that's okay. And this is on your father's side. So it sounds like you're going to be doing a little homework. But they're coming through very, very strong. They're wanting you to know more about that side of the family because it's almost like there's going to be some fascinating things you're going to find.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to the next one. And, of course, the lines are backed up, but the numbers are 1-877-996-1420, 508-996-0500. And, of course, if you have trouble getting through, just go to lifesgift.com, and you can book a session with Rick there as well. All right, good evening. You are on Spooky Southcoast with Rick Hayes. How you doing?
Good, and you?
All right, can we have your name?
Dixie.
All right, hi, Dixie.
17 years ago yesterday, my husband passed away, and I was wondering if there's anything you want to tell me. I also have an aunt that's passed only a year. Whatever you can pick up.
Well, first of all, Dixie, I love that name. It's got a ring to it, you know? You know what? Before you even mentioned something about a mail, I did have a mail coming through immediately, and I feel you said it's been 17 years. I really need to share with you. he said it's not quite 17 years. So I don't know if it's exactly 17 years, but immediately I felt like it wasn't quite 17 years. I also feel like this male's coming through is also wanting to acknowledge about something to you about really letting you know there was no pain there. Okay.
Okay.
So if you was wondering if he had some pain before he moved on, he's really wanting to share with you that he didn't really feel that.
Okay.
And they do that a lot. So how did he move on?
He passed away through diabetes and heart failure.
Okay. Well, he's really wanting to share with you, and the best way I can explain this is almost like the whole body goes numb because you go into your spirit body, and he's really wanting to acknowledge that. He's also talking about something about a newspaper. Either he's talking about his obituary in the paper. I don't know if you saved that or not, but he's really, really almost like he's almost proud of that.
Okay.
And everything that was written in that.
Very
okay?
good.
And have you moved since? Have you moved? Are you in a different location?
No. I've been in this location for 19 years.
Okay, he's making me feel like there's been something that's changed around you. Okay, there's something around that location that's been moved or changed, and he's really it's almost like he's saying don't let that bother you.
Okay.
All right. And I don't know how long you two have been married, but it's almost like you guys have an unspoken word to each other. It's almost like you guys knew what each other was thinking. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dixie.
Thank you so much.
Have a great night.
You too.
All right. The next one lined up already. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast with Rick Hayes. Can we have your name, please?
Hey, guys. It's Luann.
Hello.
How are you?
Well, I'm not going to guess anything about it because I know everything about you. So let's see if Rick can make a connection for you.
Hi, Luann.
Hi, Rick. How are you?
I'm absolutely living life supernaturally.
Awesome. No other way to go, is there?
You have a question?
Yeah, actually, I kind of do. I'm wondering, for one, if the spirits are happy about the new project I'm working on, and kind of wondering if something else.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I got to ask you, how are you doing with your own abilities? Because I need to share with you. I really feel strongly that you may have some abilities. I don't know if you're applying them to its fullest yet.
Not exactly.
Okay. Really allow yourself to open up these abilities because I feel like there's someone very, very special around you. People like to say we have spirit guides. You know, my feeling is who better to guide you in spirit than a loved one who knows you. And I really feel like there's someone around you that's really trying to push you into opening up your abilities more so you can connect.
Gonna be more butt kicking, ain't there?
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, what was your question again? I'm sorry. I had to interject there.
Well, I was hoping that some of the spirits that have kind of been regulars in my life are happy about the project that I'm doing because it sort of involves them. I'm hoping like it honors them in a way, and I don't want them to be upset about it.
Okay, they're really guiding you, and I want to go back to what I was saying. I really feel you need to open up your abilities more and listen to what they're trying to share with you because I really feel like you're on the right track with this. But I'm seeing stepping stones, which is telling me that there's some more steps you need to do yet before you actually got to where it will be done. And
really, really busy, aren't I?
Okay, and I got to share this with you, Luann. I really feel there's something about the number 6 with this. Okay. So remember that as well. Okay.
Well, that's my birthday.
It is.
On the 6th.
Okay.
August 6th.
Well, maybe they're telling you better have this done by your birthday.
Something in June, though, too. Oh, that's tough. I don't know.
Okay.
The 6th is kind of significant.
Okay, I got to go back to your abilities. Just briefly. Do you get feelings? Do you get sense? Do you get senses? Are you sensitive?
Yeah.
Okay. I really got to say this again. I really want you to. Starting right now, I want you to allow yourself to open up more with your abilities because they're guiding you. They're really guiding you. And you said something about a project. They're really excited about this, and they're really wanting to help you. But I feel like they're really trying to tell me that you need to open up more so they can help you more, okay?
Okay. Ugh.
All right. You're going to have to do it.
I know. It's work, though.
Well, if you go to lifesgift.com, Rick has plenty of suggestions there that can help you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what the project is, but we'll always tell everyone if you're going to stumble forward.
Well, that's usually good because if you fall backwards, you're falling on your butt.
That's right.
There you go. All right.
Thank
you
you
for calling in.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And Rick, are you still doing the newsletter on your website?
Well, we have a newsletter that goes out now. We got about I think about 4,800 subscribers. So it goes out once a month.
And it's definitely full of positivity, and it's definitely a very inspiring newsletter to get in your inbox every month.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to the next call, and we have a couple lines open. So if you want to jump in, 1-508-9. What am I giving out a number like I'm dialing it myself? 508-996-0500. 1-877-996-1420. Those are the numbers. All right, let's go to the next call. Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast with Rick Hayes. How are you?
Good. How are you?
All right. Can we have your name, please?
Yes, this is Crystal.
All right. And you're on with Rick.
Hey, Rick. How are you?
Hi, Crystal. I'm telling you, we got some great names coming through tonight.
Great. That's good to hear. Well,
you have a question?
I'm just calling to see if there's actually any communication going on out there. There's a few people that have passed last couple of years.
I got to ask you. I don't know if you have a pet dog at home or if there's someone connection to dog.
Yes.
Do you have a dog?
I don't have one personally, but there is a dog within the family.
Is the dog moved on as well?
I'm sorry?
Has the dog moved on?
No.
It's still here?
Yes.
Okay. I'm really feeling like that there's a connection to this dog. And if it's someone that's moved on, they're really wanting to say, they're wanting to and this is kind of strange, but they're wanting to recognize the dog.
Okay. That makes sense.
And you know who that is?
Who the person is or who the dog is?
Who the person is.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And I feel like, I feel like this dog's inside. Was this an inside dog?
It was. I mean,
okay.
it was definitely, it stayed with people quite a bit.
Well, whoever's got the dog now, make sure they take care of it.
Okay.
Because this dog's it's almost like a very loving pet, and it was to this person. And, I don't know, again, I'm not feeling like who this is, but the first thing I heard when you started talking was I heard, take care of the dog, take care of the dog. So, all right.
Absolutely.
And also, I heard this, and I hear this a lot, and this is kind of generic, but I'm hearing, I'm okay. I'm okay.
That's great.
Okay. And also, I'm being shown candles, so they're also wanting to recognize either a birthday coming up or some kind of event, and I really feel like it's going to be in the next 6-7 weeks.
Actually, we do have a birthday. It's going to be on the 20th.
Okay, they're wanting to recognize, they want to acknowledge that they, and I share with everyone, all the good memories, all the good experiences that you have here, they take with you, and they know when the birthdays are still coming up and events like that. So, and it's just their way of acknowledging, yes, we're going to be at the party.
That's funny. We actually we are having a birthday party tomorrow for a person's granddaughter.
Oh, okay, that's great.
That works out.
Well, save a seat, all right?
Absolutely, we'll do.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good night. Thanks for
calling.
calling.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, take care.
All right, I think it's line 4 next, right? Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast. And Rick, if you want to take a break at any time, just let me know.
I'm good.
All right, you're on the air with Rick Hayes. How you doing? Can we have your name, please?
Yeah, hi, it's Mark. How you doing?
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
I actually have two things. I sent an email to Matt Moniz asking a technical question, and he answered me within minutes, so I just wanted to get his praise out there. Right, I appreciate the help right away.
Glad I could help.
He got a little wise with me, but anyway.
Faster than I get anything out of him.
Hey, you left it open, Mark. You left it open.
I know. I certainly did, and I deserve that.
I was actually getting a little scared. I was getting a little scared. I thought you was going to ask me a technical question, and all I can tell you is reboot.
Which is what I have to do.
I was going to unplug it if you have to, yeah. I was just going to let Rick go, see what he can read what's going around me. Does he see anything coming up in the future for me, that kind of thing?
Okay. First of all, I do feel that. Did you have a grandmother that's moved on?
Both of mine, actually.
Okay. I really feel like I really felt the word grandmother came through very, very strong, and so. And you ask about what's coming up for you. I want to say this. I feel like there is something coming up for you, and I feel like it's coming up before November. I'm feeling close around November, maybe the middle toward the end of November. And I don't know exactly in what part of your life it's going to be, Mark, but I feel like that what you do from now till that November is going to really determine how this is going to come out. I think it's going to take some small steps right now, but when you get to November, you're going to see the big picture, okay?
Is it a positive thing or a negative thing?
It's a very positive thing.
Well, that's good. Okay.
And it's almost like, I don't know what's been going on, but it's almost like your last three and a half years, you've been kind of stuck, okay? and it's like now is the time to start taking those steps, because about the middle of November to the end of November, you're going to start seeing all these things coming to fruition for you.
All right.
Okay. Have you been living in the same area for the last 3 years?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also your place of employment, is it very close to where you work where you live as well?
It was, and then I transferred to another same company, but a different area.
Okay. How's that working for you?
It's all right.
Okay. I really think there may be some changes there in your career, okay?
Okay.
And it's a positive thing, a very positive thing.
Excellent.
I don't see you in the vehicles much.
No.
Okay. I don't know what you do, but I just don't see you. I don't see you in the vehicles much.
I'm in the private security industry.
Okay.
And I'm not usually in the
He's
mobile
our
one.
bodyguard. He takes care of us.
All right. Well, I really respect this, but I really feel like and you heard me at the beginning of the show that the door's open for an opportunity for you, and you're to walk through them. It's your choice to walk through them, but I really feel you're going to see some doors starting to open for you, and it's going to be small steps to whatever this middle of November into November thing is going to be.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Thanks for the time.
And if I ever need a bodyguard up in that area, I'll look you up.
Call me right up, my friend.
I will.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye. All right. Let's go to the next line. Good evening. You were on Spooky Southcoast with Rick Hayes. Sure, 3.
Hi.
How you doing? Can we have your name, please?
Yeah, Mary Beth. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you tonight?
Spooktacular.
I love your book.
Mine?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
Spooky South Coast. The best.
Thank you so much. Well, do you have a question for Rick?
Yeah, I wanted to know if somebody's haunting me, because I'm just feeling a presence in the apartment lately.
In your apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't think it's so much. It's so much you. I don't think so much your apartment. I feel like it's something next door.
Really?
Yeah, okay. And I also feel, Mary Beth, that it isn't so much of a haunting, but it's someone that doesn't recognize that wall is your private area. Okay. And they're just kind of walking through, and it's someone that's connected to someone right next to you. That's why when you said apartment, that made a lot of sense to me, because it's almost like they're right next to you. And I feel like they're just almost like walking through your apartment, and it's almost like they're walking through. And so what you can do is, and this is what I do at my home, you just when you feel their presence, just share with them to respect you. This is your private area, and for them to stay over there on that side. But there's nothing harmful. And I keep feeling like there's a male connection to this as well. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you know your next door neighbor?
No.
Okay.
Not at all, really,
okay.
because they speak a different language.
Oh, okay. I really do feel it's a connection to somebody next door, and it's not so much. Again, it's not so much they're trying to. They're trying to haunt you or scare you. It's almost like they're just walking through. They're just walking around. and I think you're picking up on that. So if you feel that presence again, and I share this with everyone that goes through things like this, just they'll respect you. You have control. So just let that presence know that this is your living space, this is your area, and to respect you and to respect that as well. And I think you'll see everything will be all right.
Okay. Is there any family messages maybe coming through briefly?
Well, I got when I wrote it down, I got the number 11, and someone that came through immediately wanted me to share the number 11. So when they give me a number like that, it's either 11th month, 11th day. There's a connection to the number 11 with the individual around you.
Yeah, my birthday's in November.
It is? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. That's amazing.
I thought you were talking to me from the last guy that called. I thought that was all about me.
No, actually with him, I actually got the
I was
word
actually
November.
on the phone, but you couldn't hear me. We
Well,
were connected. It was
Well,
fun.
I really did feel that, with him, I got the word November. With you, I got the number 11.
Yep.
So I mean, there's 11 connection there, and I do feel you said one, but I do feel like you've got more than one around you as well, and it's almost like they're working together to help you. Are you married?
No.
Have you been married?
No, I haven't.
They're working on that.
Well, that's good to know.
Okay.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. Okay, maybe by November.
Yeah,
Fingers
right.
crossed. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mary Beth.
Bye.
Have a good night. All right, let's go to line 1. Good evening. You were on Spooky. And if you want to call in, 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420. Those are the numbers. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast with Rick Hayes. How you doing?
Not too bad. It's low battery Dave, guys.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Not too bad. How you doing?
And Dave, I want to take a chance to say thank you for your donation as well to Adam's fundraiser. I didn't mention you on the air earlier. I feel bad about that.
No, not a problem. You know what? I hope he gets it, man. I really do.
Thank you so much. All right, you have a question for Rick?
Yeah, I'm kind of skeptical, and I thought I'd give a call, kind of put things out there, see what he can come up with. And
Well, hey, Dave. First of all, it's okay. I always share with everyone. I wrote this in the book. It's okay to be skeptical. It just means we're all simply still learning to understand.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm open-minded, too, so.
There's nothing wrong with being skeptical, because really when it comes right down to it, we really don't know until we get there. But whenever I was listening to you, I immediately got something to do with a person wearing a hat. And the hat, I don't feel like it's a baseball hat. I feel like it's more like one of those old 40s, 50s types of hats. And I feel like that there's a connection to this. And I don't know if it's someone from your. It's almost like I feel like this person would be in a suit with a hat. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah, it does, actually. Yeah.
Okay. And and I really got to say this. It's almost like if you want to know how this person's doing, just that's how he is. He hasn't changed. Okay.
Okay. That's great.
And he's also sharing with me. Is this like a father grandfather type side?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. I also feel like he always had something in his pocket as well.
Okay.
Okay. But and I really, if you know who this is, I would really just recognize. He's just recognizing, acknowledging that he is a part around you. And I've got a grandfather that helps, that guides me throughout my life. And that there's times from time to time I always say, "Hey, grandfather, tell me what to do here. I don't know what to do. What would you do?" And they'll kind of show you.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I got to ask you, do you have more than one computer in your home?
Well, sort of. Yeah.
Well, he's also wanting me to acknowledge that he says you got a lot of. It looks like computers to me, and he says he doesn't know the first thing about them.
Well, no, that'd be pretty on the money.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot for calling.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, have a good night, Dave. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, and we're laughing because we kind of know what Dave's getting at, so we'll share it with you sometime off there, Rick. But
okay,
maybe you
all
made
right.
a believer out of a true skeptic.
Well, it's really funny to me because when I get these things, and people say, do they come to me so quick? How sometimes do they come so quickly? It's just as amazing to me, but it's like, well, that person, like Dave just called in. Well, this person we're talking about was standing basically right there with him saying, let's talk to this guy. Okay, so that's just how it feels to me.
Well, now we've got a special call lined up here on the international line. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast with Rick Hayes. Can we have your name, please?
Hi, Tim. This is Paula.
Hey,
Thank you so
Paula.
much. I finally got through.
And Paula, why don't you tell everybody where you're calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from New Zealand.
So it's been a challenge to get her to connect through to the phone, Rick. So hopefully somebody can connect from the other side.
Beautiful country, beautiful country.
Yes, it is. Hi, awesome Rick. How are you?
Oh, I'm awesome, Paula. How are you?
Oh, just wonderful today. Thank you.
Do you have a question or?
Well, not specifically. I am open to anyone that wants to come through.
Okay. I really feel like there's a female connection, and I don't know if you have do you have someone's earrings or someone's piece of jewelry that has moved on?
Yes.
Okay. Is there diamonds in it?
Yes.
Okay. This is the one that's really coming strong, and this is really funny because they're saying, don't you ever lose them. Okay.
Okay.
And
got it.
I don't know if this is a mother-grandmother type, but do you have a sister as well?
No, I don't.
Okay, I really feel like either this person coming through had a sister because they're also acknowledging a sister.
Yes.
Okay.
If it's the person I think it is, yes.
Okay, is the sister moved on as well? Is it still here?
Yes, it has moved on.
Okay, because I really feel like that if he was going to tell me it's still here, she's going to acknowledge that she's with the sister because she's really wanting to acknowledge she's with the sister. Okay.
Oh, that's very good. That I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, I really, and I got to say this is. I really feel like when one of these, either her sister or her, when one was getting ready to move on, the other one was right there, almost like to take her hand and say, "Come on."
Yes.
Okay.
That's the kind of relationship they had. Yes.
Okay. I hope to come to New Zealand sometime in my supernatural life. Love to.
Oh, please do. I would love to have a private session with you.
Absolutely. It's like I said, it's beautiful and I got to say it again because she just said it again, Paula. She's really wanting me to say, don't you lose those earrings.
I won't.
Okay.
I will take special care of them.
Well, if you lose
all right,
them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paula.
Thanks, Paula.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks, Tim. Bye-bye.
That's our number one fan out in New Zealand.
Wow.
All right, let's go to the next call. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast with Rick Hayes. Can we have your name, please?
Hi, Esther.
I'm sorry?
Esther?
Oh, hi, Esther. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, spooktacular. All right, you're on with Rick. Do you have a question for him?
Well, I'm open to anyone that might want to come through.
Hi, Esther.
Hi.
I gotta say this. There's someone that's really coming through for you that took me directly to the kitchen area, and was almost like they had something cooking on the stove, and it's almost like whoever's coming through you would know them as being in the kitchen a lot.
Mhm.
Okay, and I don't know if this is again we're going to another mother grandmother, so it's either a mom or a grandmother on your mom's side.
Yeah, Mom, probably, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I got to ask you too is do you keep a door shut inside your home?
Yes.
Okay, have you ever noticed it opening?
Not really.
Okay. She's telling me something about the door that you keep shut. She's really wanting you to watch that now because I feel like that the door you keep shut, you're going to find that it's opened a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to know how it opened. She's telling me that she's the one that opened it.
Oh.
Okay? Oh. And this is Esther, this is what I call physical validation. They understand that we still are in our physical body. So what they do is they give us concrete signs that they're still around us, and they'll do little things like this. But she said there's a door in your home that you keep shut, and she's going to open this for you. and it'll just open just a little bit, but you'll see it open, okay? And when you see this, just say hello to her, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Esther.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, we have about 8 minutes left of the show, Rick, but the phones are still lit up. You're used to this. You know, this is what you must deal with every week on your own show.
Well, and you just said 8 minutes left, and I'm sitting here thinking, what happened to that? What happened to the 2 hours?
Exactly.
We say that every time I'm on here. It's like, what happened to the 2 hours?
And then everybody yells at us because they say, well, how come you guys didn't go late? Sometimes you go late. Well, tonight we can't. So let's try to get through these calls as quickly as we can. Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast with Rick Hayes. How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Oh, we are spectacular. What's your name, please?
Bill, please. Bill?
All right, Bill, you're on with Rick. Do you have a question for him?
Yeah, just, see if anybody's trying to come through to me.
Bill, is your birth name like a William, though?
Pardon me?
What's your birth name?
William.
Okay, because when you said Bill, I immediately heard that, no, his birth name is William. Okay.
Yeah.
And is your mom still here?
No.
I really feel like she wanted to make sure that when you said Bill, she said, no, it's William.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and she's wanted to recognize your birth. I also got to ask you, was there a problem with her feet?
Yes.
Okay, because she's really wanting, she could dance. There's no problem with her feet anymore. She could dance if she wanted to.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And she, I don't know how your relationship was with her, but I'm going to tell you this, Bill, is she really, really is with you, and she is. I hope you're not. I hope you don't have a brother, because she's making me feel like that you're her. That's the boy. She said, that's my boy.
Yeah, I did have a brother, but he passed.
Okay. Well, then, of course, he would be with her now, and so you're the only boy that she has here still in the physical body. But I also got to ask you, too, she's also wanting me to, do you wear glasses?
Yes, I do.
Okay, she's telling me, I don't know if you have a tendency to lose them or misplace them, but she's telling me to quit that.
To what?
I don't know if you have a tendency to misplace your glasses.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and she's almost like telling me, she's saying, now, William, you stop that. Okay?
Yeah.
So you need to put them where you know where they're at all the time, because she says you keep misplacing your glasses.
Uh-huh.
All right, but she's doing really good. I also want to share with you real quickly that she's wanting me to also acknowledge to you that she's not just with your brother, but she's with, I really feel like there's a group around her. So either she has a large family that's moved on, or she has many that's moved on her side, but she's with them, and she's just really enjoying life.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Was she actually laying down when she moved on? Was she in a hospital bed or a bed?
Yes, yep.
Okay. She is so happy to be out of that bed.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Okay.
So, yeah, she's doing great, and that's who's around you. So anytime, and I share with everyone, you don't need me to talk with them. You can talk with them anytime you want to.
Okay.
All right.
They hear every word.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank
Bill.
you, William.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, we have time for maybe one, maybe two more. But what we will say is, if we don't get a chance to mention it one more time, lifesgift.com is Rick's website. You can check out all the information about him and book your own telesession with him. It's easier that way than having to wait in line here on Spooky Southcoast. So, all right, let's try and squeeze these in as best we can. Good evening. You are on with Rick Hayes. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can we have your name, please?
Danny.
Hey, Danny.
How are you?
You have a question for Rick?
I was just seeing if could see if anybody anything feel anything.
Okay. Thanks for calling, Danny.
Thank you.
Do you smoke?
Yes.
Someone's really coming through wanting me to get after you about smoking.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. And I don't know if you're near an ashtray now, but they're showing me an ashtray. I also feel like this person who's sharing this with me may have smoked as well.
Yep.
Okay. And I don't know if you have an ashtray that's connected to this person, but they're or something to do with an ashtray, but they keep showing me an ashtray.
I don't, but my sister does.
Okay. Okay. and of course, you know, you make your own choices in life, but I really feel like that they're. I don't know about the smoking him, but they're telling me that they smoked and they know why you smoke. It's almost like you got certain times of the day that you actually smoke. Is that right?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. And do you go outside?
Yep.
They stand out there with you while you're smoking.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
And they love it when you go out there when it's raining for some reason. Okay. But they're doing great in this ashtray. You know, they immediately show me an ashtray. So if your sister's got the ashtray, you know, it's just their way of saying yes. You know, we know you have it.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Danny.
Good. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Bye. Matt, we're up again. We got 2 minutes left, so I don't think we could try another one. What do you think?
Is this quick?
Let's make it real quick. Do me a favor, Matt. Play the legal ID just so we can.
I can name that message in 10 words or less.
All right, here you go. 1 second, Rick. He's got to find it. I threw it on him. All right, don't worry about it. We don't want to break the law. All right, good evening. You're on the air with Rick Hayes. You're going to be our final call. Can we have your name, please?
Phyllis?
Phyllis?
Yes.
How you doing, Phyllis?
Okay.
All right, real quick.
Just anybody who's around me?
I immediately saw something about a baby gown or a baby blanket. Phyllis, have you had a child? Have you ever had a miscarriage?
No.
Okay, there's someone that's really wanting to recognize either you as a baby, as a child, or something about a baby blanket or a baby gown. Okay, and they're really, and I'm seeing a pink. That's why I was wondering if, because they're showing me a pink, which is sharing with me a young child. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry to cut it short, but we got to go.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Amazingly, Rick, we only left one call on the board tonight. Which
we did fantastic, didn't we?
Yeah, that's 12 or 13 callers I haven't added up. That's a new record because the previous record was 11. All right, so again, lifesgift.com is the website to find more about Rick and his work, and you can also book a telesession with him and see where he's going to be having these Living Life Supernaturally lectures coming up in your area. The show is called Reflections with Rick Hayes. It's on Para X. Para X is located at para-x.com. And just real quickly, next week, we don't know what time we're going to be on yet. Depends on what the Bruins can do. So look for us. We're either going to be on at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. with a real brief show where we're going to be talking about the Shroud of Turin on the night before Easter Sunday. So until next week, for Matt Moniz, for Matt Costa, for Chris Balzano, I'm Tim Weisberg. We want you all to stay spooktacular.
First with local news, talk, and sports. This is WBSM New Bedford, Citadel Broadcasting, AM 1420, WBSM.
From ABC News, I'm Hillary Barsky. Storms that spawn tornadoes in the Midwest and South have moved into the Carolinas. In North Carolina, officials say 4 people have been killed by the powerful spring storms. North Carolina Governor Bev Perdue says the rash of tornadoes that ravaged her state is the worst outbreak since the mid-'80s.
We believe that there are perhaps as many as 62 tornadoes that have touched down across the state in many of our counties, about 20 counties.
Doug Howell of the North Carolina Emergency Management told reporters that he wants people to stay out of the impacted areas.
We've got people have been injured. They're trying to take care of those problems. We've got down power lines. We know that. But for the safety of the public, we recommend that they stay out of these areas that have been heavily affected.
With calmer winds giving firefighters a chance to get a handle on a few massive Texas wildfires on Saturday, some residents were able to return to their homes or what was left of them. Yet another incident of an air traffic controller falling asleep on the job. This time it was at a facility in Miami on Saturday morning. The FAA says no flight operations were affected and the controller has been suspended. More from ABC's Lisa Stark in Washington.
What's become clear here is that this is not a case of just a few tired controllers, but of a schedule
scheduling system that sets controllers up for fatigue. They are taking a close look at it. Sources tell ABC News they will be trying to figure out how to put extra hours in between shifts so they give controllers more opportunity to get some rest before they get on the job and have to talk to those airplanes.
It's the fifth incident to be disclosed by the FAA since March. Speaking at a Tea Party rally outside of the state capitol in Madison on Saturday, Sarah Palin says Wisconsin's governor is doing the right thing by demanding more concessions from public unions. You're listening to ABC News.
This is my way to learn Spanish.
This is my way to learn French.
My way to learn Russian.
Italian.
Japanese.
My way.
My way. Chinese.
My way to learn a foreign language.
The best way to learn a foreign language is